I've been a participant and co-lead on several teams to both Santo Domingo and to Santiago. The presentations that follow will provide you with a taste of what transpired this summer with the teams from both Santo Domingo and Santiago. As shared with the participants, this is just an appetizer to leave you wanting more. Hopefully these presentations will show you what our Dominican mentor colleagues are capable of and how they were able to share their learning with their peers. It's been a long time coming and delayed by COVID, but this summer was definitely a moment to see the baton being passed to the mentors, and they rose to the occasion. It's exciting to see what may unfold as we look forward to the summer of 2023. So our focus for TMA's work this year in Santo Domingo was creating conditions for student-centered learning. And there were 4 Canadian team members. Myself and Wendy Chan were co-lead. New to us, Kat Duval and Janet Gaberson made the team of 4 to work with our mentors. This little bird is called a Sankofa bird, and this was actually designed by an American artist, Cheryl Olney. The word Sankofa comes from the Akan people of Ghana, and it means to go back and get it. And the idea with this little bird is to take the knowledge that we've learned in the past and to bring it forward. And both teams, that was presented to them, and they also received a pin that looks like this little Sankofa bird to remember what they've learned and how they could apply it as they move forward. So our action plan to Santo Domingo was to travel in August this year. Because of COVID, the school year had been extended to the end of July. We had 8 Dominican mentors who planned and prepared a workshop to be delivered in Consuelo, with the amazing assistance of 3 translators to help collaborate with them. Their goals were to work collaboratively and support each other to prepare a 75-minute workshop to share with their colleagues, which focused on implementing student-centered learning strategies in the classroom. And the mentors spent 2 days planning and preparing for this workshop. On the first day when we got together, it was the Canadian team led first in modeling and reviewing a variety of strategies for cooperative learning, reinforced the importance of establishing a community of learners, and shared the significance of having community circles in the classroom, and emphasized the need for establishing classroom norms, especially after the few years we've had. We also discussed specific workshop goals of key items to include in their workshops to be presented in Consuelo. Later during the day, the group established the 3 big ideas that they wanted to focus on, and the topics became integrating different curriculum areas in a creative way, creating a safe space to learn and receive feedback, knowing your students in all their dimensions. And then they started to form their team as to who was going to work together, also keeping these ideas broad because we were going to be working with a broad audience. On day 2, we reviewed some more strategies, and then they got to work, the Canadian team being there to support our Dominican mentors as they started building the workshop. On our 3rd day working together, it actually was a very early morning, but we headed to Consuelo. Hector Santana Nolasco was our prominent connection. He's the principal of the school where we're working. Most of the Consuelo participants came from his high school. We had 3 different workshops with 60 participants showing up, and we had to keep that number tight. I know Hector would have found us lots more to add. This is just a grouping of the photos of just some opportunities to be able to see some of the learning. Of course, there was many more that we could have included, but you can see the confidence and pride and enthusiasm that our mentors were displaying in each of the rooms. And at the end of workshops in Consuelo, we asked the participants to complete an evaluation of the day. And I know you can't read that on the right, don't worry about that. But 86% of the participants will implement or share something that they learned with a colleague. Main topics of interest were integrating different curriculum areas, or managing emotions, areas of development, and multiple intelligences. 100% of the participants expressed interest to continue their learning, and 100% of participants had very positive learning experience. They definitely were looking for more. And our work and the work of the mentors has only just begun. As Nancy would say, this is just an appetizer. You have yet to experience the full meal. We do have some testimonials to share with you. They're from our participants. The first one, hopefully, will be from Maxima. She was also one of...
Good afternoon, my name is Maxima Martinez. I work with a TMA group, team. It was a grateful activity, a grateful workshop. I enjoyed a lot. It was funny. The teachers, the American teachers were wonderful. They know a lot and they share all their knowledge. I really like that. I really enjoy this and I'm very grateful.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you so much, TMA, for coming here to Consuelo to teach us all these beautiful strategies. I'm so happy to be a participant of this worship because here today I learned so many activities that I can use in my classes. I was so happy because it was a very long day, but the day was extremely awesome. I love it because it was very dynamic, creative. And I would like to share these strategies with my teachers, with my colleagues in the school I work in. I would like you to come here again, but come to Liceo Juan Pablo Duarte, where I work, and you can share with all my colleagues all these strategies. I hope you can come back to Consuelo and we can continue sharing all these strategies. Thank you so much.
And Gracie was an English teacher. And I'm also going to then ask one of my summer teammates, Kat Duval, to come forward to tell you about her experience.
So, hello everyone. I asked Beth how I pulled the short straw, but anyways. This was my very first experience, as Beth mentioned, and it was amazing. I normally teach in a rural area with Trillium Lakelands in Lindsay, and so going to Santo Domingo was a massive change for me because it was such a city area. But anyways, here's my reflection. So it was hot, 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 and humid. It described the weather during our short time in Dominican while we stayed with the wonderful and friendly Pastor Lopez and his family. Seriously, stick to, pun intended, Nancy's advice of cotton and linens for clothing, including underwear. It was new to me. But seriously, working with my team of Wendy, Beth, and Janet was an amazing and rewarding and fulfilling experience. We spent 2 days in Pastor Lopez's beautiful church demonstrating instructional strategies with our Dominican mentors to increase their confidence in consolidating their ideas and preparing to deliver a workshop to colleagues. Through the translators, we offered different ideas to the mentors that they might find useful in both the classroom and the upcoming workshop. Collaboration was the key as they discussed themes and formed small groups and set to work preparing their workshop that would be delivered to their colleagues on the outreach day. These Dominican teachers were always open to new teaching practices. The mentors were such a sweet and welcoming group. One thing that struck me was how they greeted each other at the beginning of each day. They made a point of going to each person and giving them a hug and saying good morning. What a lovely culture. As mentioned, the third day was the outreach day, where the Canadian team and mentors traveled from Santo Domingo to Consuelo, where they were to deliver their workshop to 3 groups of teachers, both elementary and secondary. I feel the workshops were very well received, and the teachers did seem very grateful for the opportunity. All in all, this experience was an incredible opportunity to meet with the people and gain a bit of knowledge about this beautiful country and its culture. I've learned so much and am so thankful for my team for making me feel so welcome. Gracias.
And of course, while we're there, this can't happen without these two lovely people who not only feed us, but they also give us a great place to stay. You know, thank you so much to Pastor Lopez and his wife, Gloria. And before we went to ending our day of planning, we had to have a team cheer. And that's just a little taste of what happened in Santo Domingo this summer.
Hello, everyone. My name is Denise Taylor Edwards, and I have been with TMA since 2012, and I think have been on trips almost every year the trips were going since then, so it's a pleasure to be here today. I had the honor of being a co-lead together with my partner Sue Bruins in Santiago this summer. I'm here to tell you a little bit about that experience, but much of it has been very amply covered and well covered by Beth, because both of our initiatives were started based on the desire that came from Juan Pablo Liriano and Pastor Jose, a proposal to the executive that said, we need to keep expanding, we need to keep reaching out. And so this year was that opportunity to do that. Much like what happened in Santiago, or in Santo Domingo, we went with a smaller team of 4 individuals. So it was Sue, myself, Cheryl, my dear friend Cheryl, she's right here, and very proudly was able to have my daughter go along with me as well, who is a teacher. So the 4 of us went in a very similar fashion. We did the workshops for 3 days with the Canadian mentors from Santiago, and they were amply ready to go. So we're going to show you a video, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it, okay? Here's our
had 3 days with you as mentors, and we are wondering, with the workshop materials that we provided, how well did we build your confidence?
Well, I felt really encouraged and motivated because I normally get nervous when I am, directing this kind of job. I get nervous, but now
with this experience, it was easy. I mean, they make it easier for me. So I realized that I can do this job. And I said, wow, I get surprised with myself. And that was because of the environment of confidence that I felt with TMA. Are you excited about tomorrow's workshops? Definitely. I am so happy and excited to start this. I want to do it. I think I'm ready. You are more than ready. Thank you.
So many things there. Seeing those pictures just remind me, but I think the most important thing, of course, was building the leadership skills and building the confidence of those Dominican mentors who had yet had the chance to really take on that full facilitation. And as you saw those pictures, they were in the forefront. We were, as the Canadians, we were busy making sure the handouts were handed out, making sure that everything was in place for them, and they were running the show. And the way we structured it, and I believe it was the same in Consuelo, was that we had different groups rotating through. So we repeated the same workshop maybe 3 or 4 times that day. And it was amazing to watch the confidence of those mentors, because they turned around and said, I'm not sure if that worked real well. I really think we ought to change this. And it was all coming from them. I mean, and they ended up feeling, we can do this. We can do this. I want to stand back. They didn't congratulate themselves on it, but they need to be congratulated on it. Not only could they run the workshops, but they organized the whole event as well and did an incredible job on the organization, managed the evaluations. Our evaluations came back again, echoing very much what you saw happen in Consuelo. They don't just want the appetizer, they want the full meal, and we're pretty committed. We got to give them that full meal next year, right? So that's the next part. Oh, and I do want to give a little shout out for the Santiago La Vega team, especially in La Vega. One of the gentlemen, I didn't have a chance to point out to you, one of the gentlemen there was Aslini Brito, who was the former regional director, and he was right there, and he attended the workshop day, and he was very much involved in everything, and it was delightful to see that, and I think that really built confidence for the mentors as well, to see that a leader was there to appreciate their work and what they were doing, and we hope to continue working with them as well. So on that point, we now taking our lead from Pastor Jose and from Juan Pablo in their proposal, are trying to be the multiplicadores, as they say, to get out there and keep this moving. So now next summer, we need to support 4 sites. So that means that we need lots of help. So one of the appeals that I want to put out to any of you who are working in school districts or have connections to teachers is to please talk this up and talk up the possibility of volunteering in the summer to be part of a team, because we will need more individuals. If you're anyone who has been on a team before and are thinking, oh, it might be fun to go back again, this is a great time to come on back. And especially for those forum participants, as we come back with 4 teams, we need more leaders. We need people to lead teams and to help. And those of you that have had experiences are well poised to do that. So I think that there was going to be, yes, here's the, on the website, if you're familiar with the website, we just had a new addition to it, which is this little button that says Join Our Team. And when you hit that Join Our Team button, it will lead you to 2 ways that you can help out, or that anyone you know that you think would be appropriate, you can lead them to it. We do need teachers that can volunteer in the summer and come on travel trips. We also continue to need translators and interpreters, because we are continuing to want to be able to deliver in Spanish and English and keep our website bilingual, keep our publications bilingual, but we need a team of translators and interpreters. So if anybody's interested in that, join our team. You'll see there's one promotion that says, hey, if you'd like to volunteer, click here. And hey, would you like to be a translator interpreter? Click here, and there's more information there. So we encourage you to either engage or spread that word and keep it going, because we need your help if we're going to fulfill that job of multiplicadores, right? So thank you very much, and all the best.
So for those of you that were here during the business meeting, you heard me speak of Juan Pablo Liriano and Betty Ann Platt. Okay, maybe you can just stand up a sec, because that... So here's a little bit of a storytelling time. So Juan Pablo, a Dominican from Santiago, Dominican Republic, you heard Santiago, and Betty Ann Platt, a Canadian, were the co-founders of CAFE, Canadian Aid for Education. Juan Pablo is one of 15 siblings, and Betty Ann is the eldest of 12. So they are used to doing hard work and negotiating, journeys in life, working with other people. They met here in Canada following an unexpected and quick departure of Juan Pablo from his homeland. 1975, I think you told me. Was that right, Juan? 76. They have 3 children, 2 of whom are here today. Bridget, think about Bridget, and John Paul. And they are, they helped me with some of these notes. Thank you, Bridget. As an immigrant to Canada, Juan Pablo was very grateful for the opportunities offered to him in Canada. He always recognized the importance of education in achieving his goals and for supporting his success as a teacher and leader. Juan Pablo and Betty Ann always had a sense of duty, not only to family, but also the global community. Always recognized that it was important to lead by example, and they did, working with local and national organizations that promoted social justice and raised awareness about disparities. In early 2000, the time had come for them to embark on a new journey. Juan Pablo dreamed about a way that he could give back to the community from where he came. And with Betty Ann by his side, he embarked on a fact-finding mission, reconnecting with friends and former colleagues in the Dominican Republic to explore further what they could do to make a difference. In 2003, CAFE, Canadian Aid for Education, was established with Juan Pablo as president and Betty Ann as the backbone of the organization from the administrative perspective. She is extraordinary on that administrative front. And they worked tirelessly to ensure accountability and integrity in CAFE operations. The first project was something called Meals Program in Barahona. Barahona is in the southwest part of Dominican Republic, very impoverished, high needs, borders with Haiti, very kind of almost, it's not just remote, it has that sense of kind of forgotten land in many ways. But there was a determination there to care for folks there. So CAFE was committed to working in partnership with established community programs to understand their needs and provide support. The support provided by CAFE allowed for many small community programs to expand their services and make even bigger impact in the communities they served. Juan Pablo and Betty Ann traveled together to many of the communities to bear witness to the projects that CAFE supported. They built friendships along the way. And being able to see the impact of their work firsthand was a motivator and energizer for Juan Pablo and Betty Ann to continue to expand CAFE's reach to other programs, both in the Dominican Republic and other countries such as Peru, Chile, Bangladesh, El Salvador. They were always dedicated to the work, willing to make sacrifices to achieve their goals, and demonstrated personal commitments to the programs they supported. So in 2005, Juan Pablo and I were introduced by the Dominican consul in Toronto. And in August of 2006, Juan Pablo traveled on a TMA team to Santo Domingo. And he came away saying he wanted TMA to come to Santiago. Now, mind you, TMA is only a couple years old at this point. In 2012, CAFE sponsored 2 educators from Santiago to attend the summer conference in Santo Domingo to determine their interest and commitment to the program's expansion to Santiago. In 2013, CAFE sponsored 7 educators from Santiago, committed to forming a mentor team and prepare program delivery in Santiago. They wanted it to be the next year, but program committee said, nah, you need a couple of years, get your committee well formed, well prepared, all the necessary logistics. So in 2015, CAFE and TMA launched a new training site in Santiago. In 2021, Juan Pablo presented a pilot proposal, you've heard of it earlier, to TMA's board of directors with Director Jose Lopez to expand TMA's work into the rural areas of Dominican Republic that would not otherwise have training opportunities available to them. And in 2022, La Vega and Consuelo became the first outreach sites to expand our work. You already heard about the successful delivery of this past summer. So as you see, Juan Pablo is a visionary, and Betty Ann, his steadfast companion in bringing his vision to reality. Yet in December of this year, CAFE will cease to exist. And today we are here to recognize the work that they have done for the past 20 years. It has been an organization that has brought people together, demonstrating that a little support can make a big difference in the lives of many. It has inspired many, many members of the local communities to get involved. And many people have benefited from the support of local projects and were empowered to contribute to the work and help support others. Juan Pablo and Betty Ann maintained their commitment to education just through other means. In fact, Juan Pablo continues to serve on Teacher Mentors Abroad's board of directors and provide wise counsel and perspective to our work. So on behalf of the board of directors of Teacher Mentors Abroad, Juan Pablo and Betty Ann, I'm going to ask you to come up and accept a small, humble, as is our way, gift to remind you of how profound and lasting that relationship between CAFE and Teacher Mentors Abroad has been and will continue to be with your involvement. Gracias de todo corazón. Now they know why their daughter and son were here. Oh, he says I surprised him. Ah. All right, have a look. Yeah, have a look. Okay, there's one here for you too, Juan Pablo. Ahí otro regalito. Oh, yes, of course. Here. Show them. Can you say a word or two? It wouldn't be Dominican if you didn't. Huh? Pero breve. Yes. Oh, we're not finished. Hang on. Yes. Okay. We'll just sit for 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carlos Martinez. I'm from Dominican Republic, and I'm not so good speaking in English, but Juan Pablo Liriano and other members of CAFE, or Canadian Aid for Education, has been very grateful organization. They have supplies and support the Dominican education, and I want to say them all that they are they have been very muy buen trabajo que han hecho para nosotros, y por eso me siento muy agradecido. De verdad que la Fundación Café fue un soporte especial. Me siento muy emocionado por haberles conocido, y es una pena que se esté disolviendo, pero quiero que se lleven la gratificación de que han sido un soporte muy bueno para la República Dominicana, especialmente para mí, que gracias a ellos conocí otros horizontes, incluso pude incursionar en el voluntariado, y gracias a ello conocí a Teacher Mentors Abroad, y también pude compartir con otros allá en su país, en Canadá. Así que me siento muy agradecido. Muchas gracias, y quiero decirles que quizás se está disolviendo la fundación, pero su trabajo es como semillas que están difundidas y que va a seguir. Solamente deja de existir como organización, pero el trabajo continúa. Muchas gracias.
Gracias a Dios por permitirme conocer a Betty y a Juan Pablo a través de la Fundación Café, porque ya ellos fueron quienes hicieron posible que yo fuera parte de TMA. En el día de hoy tuve esa gran oportunidad de ser una mentora y ayudar a otro a llevarle mi conocimiento para la vida. Que Dios le dé mucha salud a los dos para que ellos sigan haciendo esa labor. Pero TMA, cuánto te agradezco que me haya permitido lograr estos grandes conocimientos y ponerlo en práctica a otros maestros para que lo lleven a sus estudiantes. Gracias Juan Pablo, gracias Betty por su entrega, por su dedicación y su amor para nosotros y para los demás. Gracias infinita.
So the gist of those comments is the gratitude and the appreciation that they have to Juan Pablo and Betty Ann for the work of Café, and that they planted seeds that have grown in these, not only these individuals, but so many other mentors, and saying had it not been for their work in Café that brought TMA to Santiago, they wouldn't be the leaders that they are today. And so in her last words were infinite thanks and gratitude for what you have done, because it will continue to produce for many years. I know Juan Pablo wants to say some brief words, and so please come.
Realmente ha sido una gran sorpresa. It has been a great surprise to me because I wasn't expecting anything like. However, I think I have the honor to meet Nancy, the founder of TMA. And somehow we've been working together for the same goal, for the same objective, with the same vision, with the same mission. I'm grateful to each one of you, those who are part of TMA and those who support TMA. And they are going to continue giving the support that is needed to continue our mission in the Dominican Republic. And I'm grateful and thanks God for allowing me to somehow contribute to the life of some people in the world by doing what I have been able to do through the years. I've been asked to be brief, and I'm going to be brief. Anyway, thank you to my family, thank you to TMA, thank you to the mentor in the Dominican Republic, thank you to each and everyone that has joined TMA endeavor to continue planting the seed of change, of justice, of equality in our world. God bless each one of you, and we are hoping to continue. I haven't been retired yet. And I promise that while I'm still breathing, I will continue to support TMA and my brothers and sisters, wherever they may be, in the DR especially. Thank you very, very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. There is another recognition for a long-time board member of Pauline Lang, who unfortunately is unable to be with us today. And Beverly Friedman, who is a board member, is unable to be with us today as she's grieving the loss of her beloved brother. So they have both asked if I could deliver some words of thanks and gratitude. And so these are their words, and I will begin to recognize Pauline Lang, and this is a message from Bev Friedman. Pauline, it is not everyone who starts as your mentor, becomes your boss, and then ends up as a mentor and friend. That is how I describe my relationship with Pauline. She is a consummate leader. Pauline is insightful, reflective, and strategic. In fact, these days, this is what we do: strategic planning and leadership development. Pauline was the lead on the process that led to the creation of the previous 2 strategic plans for TMA and coached and supported me as we moved through the design of our current strategic plan. Strategic planning is an iterative, complex, organic process. For TMA, it involved gathering and analyzing stakeholder and community input into forward thinking, and then established a pathway to move us in a desired direction that became our strategic plan. Pauline began her career as a high school English teacher. That is what gives her the skills and the knowledge to make sense of Nancy's and my creative writings. Her ideas in leadership were shaped in Halton District School Board as a department head, principal, and system leader. She came to Durham District School Board as its first female director, and she was transformational. Under her leadership, Durham won the Bertelsmann Award, recognized as an international outstanding school board. It was there that Nancy, who was a trustee at the time, joined Pauline, and the two later developed into a formidable team at Teacher Mentors Abroad. From Durham, she became the director of Ontario's Ministry's curriculum branch and led the restructuring of the curriculum K-12, establishing overall and specific expectations and the current structure of provincial curriculum that we all utilize today. Nancy asks, and we do. We all do. You can't say no to Nancy. That was not Bev's words. Once Pauline began to advise TMA in collaborative strategic planning, she decided she needed to see the organization in action, ground zero, and visit the Dominican Republic and join one of the TMA teams delivering their summer institutes. She joined the group housed at Jose Lopez's home and enjoyed their warm hospitality, delicious and generous meals, and somewhat crowded conditions that the dedicated team of educators live. Team closeness. Pauline has described that amazing experience to a number of us. Pauline experienced the challenges facing revitalizing education to close outcome gaps and engage teachers and students in educational improvement. Pauline understood more deeply what could and needed to be done. She drew on her expertise from her work in Africa and Jordan and other places, providing thoughtful and useful advice to educators. Pauline wishes all of the donors and supporters could see TMA's good work in action as they make significant differences in educator professionalism. Pauline is a proud mother and grandmother of 3 who bring her much joy. It has been an honor to serve with her as an honorary member of the TMA board. Pauline continues to make a difference through her role as a champion and ambassador of TMA. And on behalf of the TMA board, there is a small gift as well for Pauline. Can I unwrap this, Nancy? Okay. And it's a beautiful framed photo of Pauline in the DR. Oh. So this is for you, Pauline. And now I'd like to read the words of gratitude and thanks from Pauline. Hello to all here today who value and support TMA. You may be a volunteer educator or a board member or a community supporter, but you have something in common. You have recognized TMA's commitment to learning and leadership for teachers, who will then cultivate these qualities in their students. My respect for the sincerity, insight, and skill of TMA participants has been a constant throughout my 10 years of association. I regret that unforeseen circumstances have kept me away today because this occasion marks the end of my being an honorary member. I never did see a description for the role, but she was always looking for one, but I could write one in a very few words. It would say, find ways to be useful. I did some useful things, but the balance of benefit was always tipped towards me. What have I seen that makes TMA admirable that I will remember? This organization is led by a woman of extraordinary energy and generosity. Nancy's vision and determination have been central to TMA. The board members have brought their skills and perspectives and created an environment where good practices and sound ideas thrive. The program committee is inventive and persistent, keeping the vision of mentorship alive through a pandemic. The volunteer teams have contributed boundless energy and professional know-how to an enthusiastic and growing group of committed DR teachers. I watched our teams in action one summer in the DR and was thoroughly impressed. Our pedagogical consultant has worked with senior educators to develop an awareness that everyone must share the best ideas. And there are others who have contributed to newsletters and website design and organizational tasks that keep TMA functioning. They all bring skills and dedication. And providing the bedrock of success, the communities of supporters and donors who believe in the work of TMA. I will not lose track of the path that TMA is following. The new board members bring DR perspectives they understand more clearly, and the emerging leadership of DR mentors and leaders will be exciting to watch. I am sure TMA will be rewarded with the success it so richly deserves. I have benefited greatly from being welcomed by TMA and offer my heartfelt thanks to all of you. Pauline.
I think it's been a good day, and I am grateful for all of you not only having come, but all of the people who made this possible. I want to recognize Phil Carmichael and Tim St. Pierre, who were at the back. I slipped into the kitchen and thanked our servers and all the helpers that made this day such a great time together of fellowship and meal. And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to bring them through, but certainly wanted for them to know how appreciated they were in this day. I also want to thank St. Paul's Leasdale, this place, this family, as they call themselves, a family of faith, a congregation that has rallied around Teacher Mentors Abroad right from its beginning. And this last year funded the development of an intercultural sensitivity workshop that they are actually now going to use with a team that they are sending in January to develop new liaisons there. So this has been a great partnership with TMA and in St. Paul's. I'm always amazed at the lengths to which people will go to make it possible to stay connected. And Julie, with all due respect, so Julie Childs is from the London area. She's here with her 2 children and her parents who are offering to babysit so that she could be in this meeting and in the lunch. Like, who does that? Who does that? So Julie has been on 2 teams, and thank you, Thames Valley District School Board, former Director of Education, also Laura, who, championed among her staff, her people, this kind of involvement and commitment. I hope that you will continue the same degree of enthusiasm. We're going into a very ambitious year, and you heard already the call for people to step up. We have had the great support of organizations, individuals. You heard how the team members self-fund. So, there's this holiday season that's coming up. If by any chance you want to honor a friend, a family member, think of somebody, there are these envelopes with these cards on the back. Don't hesitate to take one with you. It might come in handy when you're thinking like, what do I get Uncle Fred or, Aunt Charlotte? So those are things to think about. The other thing is, these are water bottles. We had something called Mentors in Motion. It was a bicycle ride. This was a number of years ago. We had great fun, but then, things like the pandemic come and it doesn't happen. We have a number of these water bottles left. They're at the back. Take one. It reminds you, TMA, Mentors in Motion, that's what we are. We are in motion, constant motion. So please help yourself. They are a small but gratuitous gift to you. So, thank you. Gracias de todo corazón for each and every one of you who is here, who is going to listen to this presentation later on our YouTube channel, for those who will be hearing about today through you. And I just ask that you drive home safely. Remember us, keep in touch, always open to your suggestions. If you're not on our mailing list, please let somebody know as you leave. We're not going to send you a lot of stuff, maybe about 3 mailings a year with our newsletters, keeping you abreast of what's happening, and as we celebrate all of what life brings for teacher mentors abroad. Muchísimas gracias. Gracias de todo corazón. Thank you with all my heart. Amen.